Discover the heartwarming truth, how one incredible act of kindness changed everything forever. In the cold heart of winter, the quaint town of Maplewood lay blanketed under a thick, swirling cascade of white, icy flakes. It was supposed to be a joyful time, bustling with preparations for the annual festival, a beloved tradition where families feasted and laughter echoed through the streets. But the blizzard changed everything. Roads were impassable, and the warmth of friendship was choked by howling wind and accumulating fears. Jake, a 32-year-old mechanic, felt the weight of the town's struggles keenly. Days were spent in the small garage, grease-stained hands working diligently to repair cars belonging to neighbors who often couldn't afford him. Honest and hard-working, he refused payment for many of the repairs, believing that kindness was the cornerstone of community. But as the flurries fell, Jake found his evenings filled with the added responsibility of caring for his mother, Helen, a decorated veteran. Her stories of integrity and resilience resonated in his heart, guiding him like a lantern in the storm. Across town, Sarah arrived, a newcomer with a warmth that felt foreign among the locals. With good intentions and a financial safety net, she organized a community meal to help those in need. But whispers of skepticism lingered like snowflakes clinging to branches. "What does she know about our struggles?" they muttered in disbelief as they huddled in their homes, worried and wary. Jake watched as Sarah served food, her smile bright but humility overshadowed by skepticism. He appreciated her efforts but remained distant, compelled by the echo of his mother's lessons. Still, as the freezing night pressed on, the inherent spirit of Maplewood stirred within him, urging him onward, bringing hope to those who needed it most. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when tensions reached a boiling point, fate intervened cruelly and beautifully. Sarah's car, slick with ice, skidded out of control, crashing just outside the garage where Jake toiled. In a rush of adrenaline, he dashed outside, heart pounding. The moment their eyes met, there was a spark of understanding. Chaos bound them together, an unlikely collaboration ignited by necessity. As they worked together to assess the damage and clear the icy debris, barriers fell. Jake shared stories of Maplewood's struggles, painting a vivid picture of heartache and perseverance. Sarah shared the cold legacy of wealth that had isolated her, exposing her own vulnerabilities. They forged a bond, illuminating the paths of hardship they had each traveled, yet, with every moment, questions bubbled beneath the surface. Could a genuine act of kindness truly bridge the chasm that divided them? The blizzard raged on, whipping through their words, but hope lingered. Could they embrace it? Would respect, understanding, and collaboration lead to change? The town was alive with potential, and Jake stood at a crossroads, grappling with the choice of pride versus progress. The moment hung heavy in the air, hearts racing with unanswered questions, hearts longing for connection as the festival grew closer, promising yet another challenge on the horizon. As the blizzard howled around them, Jake's breath was visible in the frozen air, like tiny ghosts escaping with every word he uttered. He and Sarah worked together, the dim glow of the garage providing a shelter from the storm outside. The crunch of snow beneath their boots was punctuated by the occasional shimmer of ice sliding off eaves, but they were too absorbed in conversation to notice. Maplewood's always been a tough place, Jake admitted, running a hand through his disheveled hair. For a long time, it felt like we were fighting our battles alone. Sarah nodded, her brow knitting together as she listened. When I arrived, I thought I could make a difference, but it's clear now I underestimated how deep the wounds go. She glanced down, the flicker of doubt creeping back in. I know I have resources. But money isn't everything. I can't fix what's broken on my own. Jake shifted his weight, the weight of the town's struggles heavy on his shoulders. Sometimes a single act, one tiny bit of kindness, can start a ripple. We just need to believe in it, you know. They paused, the silence filled with the winds howling. In that moment, Jake felt a connection growing, something that reached deeper than simple camaraderie. It was a shared understanding of what it meant to be human, to feel lost yet hold the hope of something greater. Just as the conversation began to flow smoother, the sudden ring of Jake's phone broke the moment. He stepped aside, glancing at the screen. It was his mother. Helen had never been one to avoid talking, especially not when it came to a chance to share her wisdom or concerns. Quickly, he answered. "Mom. Is everything all right?" His heart raced a bit, worried she might have fallen or needed help. "I'm fine, Jake," she reassured him, her voice steady. "Just wanted to check in. With this storm, I know you've been busy. How's that nice lady treating you?" Jake felt warmth spread across his cheeks. "We're getting to know each other," he admitted. "She means well, really. Just kind of a different world for her." "Oh honey," Helen's voice softened, wisdom lacing her tone, "sometimes, the ones who seem the most different can teach us the most about ourselves." He hung up, pondering her words. Could Sarah's fresh perspective really hold the key to addressing the underlying issues in Maplewood? He looked back to see Sarah deep in thought, her brows furrowed. He stepped closer, curiosity pushing him further. "We might be able to do something together," he proposed tentatively. "I can help with your meal project. But how about we make it more about sharing stories? Food is just a start." Her eyes lit up, a spark igniting hope. "That could work. We could invite families to share their challenges and triumphs. Build an actual community." "Exactly." Jake felt a surge of excitement. "We could turn this festival into a platform for voices that need to be heard." But even as enthusiasm spiraled, another pang of doubt settled in. Would the townsfolk trust Sarah? Would they embrace this new approach? Or would the lingering skepticism snuff out their budding collaboration before it even truly began? As if in answer to their unspoken fears, the winds suddenly shifted. The blizzard seemed to grow even fiercer, a testament to the storm of emotions brewing not just outside, but within the heart of Maplewood itself. With mounting determination, Jake and Sarah stared out into the chaos, a storm brewing on both sides. There they stood, on the cusp of something profound, uncertain yet filled with potential. They had a chance to change the narrative, but could they truly rally the town? And would others join them, or would the weight of history continue to choke their efforts? As Sarah looked up to meet Jake's gaze, something shifted anew between them, a deep resolve to face whatever lay ahead, together. They were ready to take a leap, but what would come of it? Would this act of kindness truly change the pieces of Maplewood forever? The storm's fury raged on, but inside the garage, an urgency grew greater than the blizzard outside. Jake and Sarah shared that moment, charged and electric, adrenaline coursing through them. Sarah's eyes shone with possibilities, reflecting not just hope, but an unwavering spirit. "Let us get started," Sarah said, turning back to the large table piled high with supplies for her meal project. "We've got stories to gather and meals to prepare." Jake nodded, and together, they began sorting through stacks of paper and ingredients. As they worked, the atmosphere shifted. Heavy snow and howling winds outside masked a delicate harmony inside, a promise of new beginnings. They painted bright visions of the upcoming festival, each shared laugh dissolving remnants of doubt. "Picture it," Jake said, a grin spreading across his face. "Families bringing their favorite dishes, recipes handed down for generations. Every meal has a story, and the festival would become a tapestry of our lives." Sarah chuckled. "You'll probably see my bad cooking skills in there too." She squinted at him, a teasing glint in her eye. "Just don't expect a Michelin star from me." "Even the worst cooks have the best stories," Jake replied, warmth settling in his chest. The blizzard continued to howl outside, but they were safe, caught in an orbit of shared aspirations. As the wind howled, an unexpected knock echoed through the garage, startling them both. They exchanged a glance. Who would be out in this weather? Jake opened the door a crack. A small figure huddled in layers of coats and scarves stood just outside. It was old Mr. Thompson, the town's longtime recluse, his white beard frosted like the trees surrounding Maplewood. "Hope I'm not interrupting," he called, his voice a raspy whisper against the blizzard's roar. Jake pulled the door open wider, disbelief mingling with welcome. "Mr. Thompson. It's brutal out here. Come in." The old man shuffled inside, shaking off snow from his shoulders. Sarah hurried to fetch a chair and some hot cocoa from a thermos she'd set aside. "You're going to want this," she said, pouring the creamy liquid into a chipped mug. "Thank you, dear," he replied, settling cautiously into the chair, eyes scanning the vibrant chaos of the garage. "Didn't he know anyone would be out in this mess?" "Just trying to bring a little light to Maplewood," Jake said, joining them, curiosity dancing in his veins. "We're planning a community meal and storytelling festival." Mr. Thompson looked intrigued. "That idea might just be what this town needs," he mused, leaning forward. "But people are wary. You'll have to get their trust, and that takes a bit of time. They remember how things were and can be resistant to change." Jake sensed the shadow of history in Mr. Thompson's words. "How do we do that?" "Start small," Mr. Thompson suggested, his eyes growing misty with captured memories. "Share your own stories first, make it personal. People need to connect with you before they open up. They want to know that their voices matter." The weight of his words hung in the air, thick with truth. Sarah nodded thoughtfully, her mind racing with the implications. "That makes sense," she whispered. "If they could see we're not just strangers, maybe they would feel safe enough to share." As they immersed themselves in Mr. Thompson's stories from his days gone by, Jake felt a stirring in his heart. It was powerful, an undeniable thread binding the past to the present, a kaleidoscope of shared experiences illuminating the path ahead, but just as excitement took hold, doubt crept back in. Would their own stories be enough to bridge the gap? Would people take a chance on them, opening the door to new beginnings amidst the storm? Savvy and resilience mingled with fear in the cozy space, creating a potent cocktail of emotions. As the snow swirled outside, the doubt made them pause. But then, Sarah turned to Jake, courage flickering in her gaze, and he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they took this first step into an unknown future, standing on the edge of something undeniably profound. But deeper. Questions loomed larger than the blizzard. Would their openness truly spark a connection, or would the past prove insurmountable? Jake opened his mouth to speak, his heart racing with uncertainty. What if, and just like that, a new chapter awaited them, veiled in both hope and fear? What was the next step in unraveling the layers of Maplewood's heart? As the wind howled outside and snow drifted against the garage doors, Jake felt the weight of anticipation settle on his shoulders. He glanced at Mr. Thompson, who was lost in thought, and then back to Sarah. They stood at a crossroads, a fragile moment suspended in time. "What if we went door to door?" Sarah suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. "We could share our stories, invite people personally. It's more intimate than just flyers." Jake's eyes lit up. "That's it. We can show them we're invested, that we're not just some outsiders." Mr. Thompson's gaze sharpened, and he nodded with approval. "That's a strong idea. Connecting one-on-one can break down walls. But you'll need to be ready for mixed reactions. Not everyone will be welcoming." His words struck a chord deep within Jake. He could picture it. Some would smile, while others might turn them away, eyes clouded with suspicion. But the thought of Maplewood coming together filled him with courage. The snow rattled against the windows, a fierce reminder of the chaos outside, yet inside, they ignited a plan. They gathered supplies: an old notebook, a couple of pens, and a fresh stack of colorful papers. Sarah busied herself drafting a simple invitation that felt warm yet clear. "Come share your stories and meals with us," it read. A simple gathering for all. As the storm raged on, the three of them joined forces, writing invitations that would act as the bridge to connect lives. With each stroke of the pen, Jake could feel patterns of trust begin to weave through the air like the swirling snowflakes outside. "All right, who's going first?" Sarah asked, looking at both of them with a smirk. You should, Jake said playfully. You're the one with the most charm. With a mischievous challenge in her eyes, Sarah slapped Jacob's arm. Alright, maybe we can start together. We've got this. Mr. Thompson chuckled softly, his weathered face crinkling with a smile. You remind me of myself when I was younger. Jake caught a soft tremor of excitement in Sarah's voice. We're not just looking to get them to come, we want to hear their stories too. Mr. Thompson leaned back in his chair, an approving glimmer in his eyes. Every person has a tale worth telling. It's in those tales that you'll find a community's soul. Their plans took form over mugs of cocoa, laughter, and shared vulnerabilities, as they promised to face whatever backlash awaited them. As night fell, Jake felt the cocoon of warmth and camaraderie envelop them, pushing back against the storm outside. But just as they grew confident, a heavy silence wrapped around the room. What if nobody comes? Jake blinked, uncertainty creeping back in. What if they don't want to share? We'll never know unless we try, Sarah said, squeezing his hand. Her determination shone like a lantern, piercing through the doubt. We're building something meaningful. And yes, there's a risk, but the potential for connection is worth it. As they prepared to brave the storm the next day, a new excitement took hold. The three of them sat together, clutching their invitations as if they were the keys to unlocking the memories buried under years of silence. But deep down, Jake couldn't shake the nagging fear that clung to him like the frost against the windows. Would their efforts resonate, or would they be met with indifference? Just then, a loud crack thundered as a branch snapped outside, startling them. They exchanged glances, unspoken worries flooding the room. Let us do this together, no matter what happens, Sarah said, breaking the tension. Together, Jake echoed. But just as they steeled themselves for the next day, another knock echoed through the garage, pulling them from their resolve. This time, the sound was insistent and urgent. Jake glanced at Sarah and Mr. Thompson, heart racing as uncertainty gripped him once more. What awaited them on the other side of that door? He took a deep breath, reached for the handle, and swung the door wide open. Standing in the doorway, Jake was met with an unexpected sight. A woman, her face framed by a knit hat and a layer of frost, stood shivering just outside the warmth of the garage. She looked familiar, her features softened by the swirling snowflakes around her. Hi there, she said, her voice barely audible over the wind. I saw your lights and thought I might need some help. Frozen momentarily, Jake's heart thudded in his chest. Behind him, Mr. Thompson and Sarah leaned in, curiosity etched on their faces. Of course. Come in, quickly. Jake stepped aside, motioning her to enter. The moment her feet crossed the threshold, the warmth of the garage enveloped her, and a sigh of relief slid from her lips. Thank you, she murmured, brushing snow off her coat. Brian's heart sank a little at the fragility in her voice. I got stuck trying to leave town, and my car it just wouldn't move. Is everyone okay? Sarah asked, concern lacing her words. The woman nodded, a small smile breaking across her face. My husband and boys are safe at home. I was just trying to get a few things. But I didn't expect the roads to be this bad. Jake handed her a warm towel, inviting her to dry off. Her grateful expression warmed him in a way he had yet to feel this winter. I'm Jake, by the way. And this is Sarah and Mr. Thompson. Linda. Nice to meet you all, she said, her eyes sparkling a little more now, despite the chill still clinging to her. I didn't mean to intrude. I just thought maybe suddenly, the air felt electric. Jake felt a flicker of something in understanding. You're not intruding. This is the perfect time. We're getting ready for a gathering. His words trailed off, and he looked at Sarah. We're inviting the folks in the community to share stories and come together. A cautious hope flickered in Linda's eyes. Really? You're inviting people over in this weather? Exactly. Sarah chimed in, enthusiasm warming her voice. The storm might make it tough, but we believe that coming together is more important. Everyone has something they need to share. I'd love to join, Linda said, her initial hesitation melting away. Maybe I can bring something from home. I bake a mean batch of cookies. Cookies? Jake's eyes widened. The prospect of homemade treats made his stomach growl just a little. Mr. Thompson chuckled, and the tension in the room shifted to something lighter. That sounds wonderful. You can be our first guest. As they talked, Linda's laughter blended with theirs, weaving a thread between them. An idea sparked in Jake's mind. What if you shared your story too? It'd be a great way to kick things off. Everyone loves a good tale. She hesitated, nibbling her lip. I've never really been great at sharing. I guess I'm a little shy, but Sarah leaned closer, her voice filled with sincerity. Just be yourself. We're all here to listen. Honestly, it'll show that even when things get rough, we can still find laughter and connection. Linda's shoulders relaxed as she glanced at each of them. Jake felt an overwhelming sense of warmth. It's what they had been aiming for, creating connections, sparking conversations. Just then, another crack of thunder echoed through the distance. Lightning flashed across an angry sky outside. The storm was intensifying, but within them, a soft glow ignited a sense of belonging, a moment of hope for Maplewood. What do you say we brave the elements together? Jake proposed, excitement bubbling in him. Show that we're stronger as a community. As they huddled together, a collective determination sparked in the room, illuminating their fears about the gathering. But just as unity began to settle, another knock resounded against the door. Who else would be out there, seeking warmth in the storm? Jake met Sarah's eyes, their hearts racing in concert. Would their determination draw more people, or would it test their resilience? Only one way to find out. Jake reached for the door, his heart pounding with anticipation. He opened it, an icy wind swept in, sending a shiver through the room. Standing in the doorway was a tall figure, thick coat flapping in the relentless snow. Excuse me. Sorry to bother you, but I got separated from my family in the storm. The man's voice was strong, yet edged with desperation. I was out searching for help. I saw your garage lights. Come in. Jake gestured urgently, ushering him inside. The man stepped in, shaking off the snow like a dog emerging from a bath. Thank you so much. I'm Tom, he said breathlessly. I'm just trying to get back to my wife and kids. They're stranded at our cabin nearby. Mr. Thompson's brow furrowed. A cabin? In this weather? It must be tough out there. They were supposed to be there already, but the way the storm hit, I couldn't even see a few feet ahead. Linda's expression turned serious, and she spoke up. You need to get back to them. We can help. It's what we're trying to do here, bring everyone back together. Are they safe? Sarah asked, sounding worried. Tom nodded, but the uncertainty in his eyes suggested otherwise. They have supplies, but if they're waiting too long, well, I just want to make sure they're okay. Jake could feel the urgency in Tom's voice. He had to act fast. We'll go with you, he said decisively. We'll brave the storm as a team. Tom looked shocked at first. You'd really do that? I don't want to put you at risk. Family is important, Jake replied, feeling the weight of every moment like it was a personal promise. We'll make sure they're safe. Isn't that what this is all about? Linda interjected, her eyes lit with determination. While we wait, we can gather supplies. Cookies might come in handy, but let us also pack some drinks and blankets. Tom's face softened with gratitude. I can't thank you enough. I truly appreciate it. As they scrambled to gather whatever they could find, the atmosphere shifted again. The room buzzed with frantic energy, but also with a shared commitment that felt sacred. In every glance exchanged, there was an understanding of what mattered most: the ties of family, friendship, and community, Jake's heart raced as he handed Tom a thermos filled with hot coffee. You should keep your energy up. It's going to be a long night. Thank you. Just knowing people care means the world right now, Tom replied, his voice brimming with sincerity. They worked fast, packing a bag with essentials. It felt like they were preparing for a mission. The storm outside raged on, but inside the garage, laughter mingled with apprehension. They were in this together. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from outside, and they all turned, eyes wide with alarm. Was that a tree? As the wind howled even stronger, Jake steeled himself. The storm's fury threatened to divide them, but as he looked around at their determined faces, he felt a steadfast resolve. Let us do this, he said, breaking through the tension. We can't let fear hold us back. With bags slung over their shoulders, they headed for the door. But just as they were about to step out into the blustering storm, Sarah stopped, her hand on Jake's arm. Wait, what if no one is home? What if the unspoken fear hung heavy in the air, and Jake felt his heartbeat quicken? Could they really face uncertain outcomes? But before he could respond, yet another knock rattled the door. They all exchanged anxious glances. Was there someone else in need, or would this spell trouble for their journey ahead? Jake took a deep breath, his heart pounding a rhythm of hope and apprehension. Let us see who it is together. The warmth of their community felt like a light amidst the darkness. But the storm wasn't the only challenge they had to confront. Jake reached for the doorknob, his mind racing with possibilities. The knock had come at the worst moment, just as they were about to step out into the storm. He held the door firmly, ready to face whatever awaited them. The group shared glances, uncertainty clouding their faces, but the flicker of determination still shone bright in their eyes. What if it's someone else who needs help? Tom asked, his voice slicing through the tension. We can't turn them away. With a nod, Jake pulled the door open, the howling wind rushing in like a living beast. The snow swirled around them, obscuring view but illuminating the framework of hope they were building together. Through the storm, a shadowy figure stood, half hidden in snowflakes. Please! She shouted against the wind. I need weight. Sarah gasped, pulling up her hood, eyes widening in horror as she recognized the woman. It's Hannah. In a flash, Sarah rushed forward, her heart a mix of relief and panic. Hannah! Are you okay? Hannah stumbled into the garage, shaking off snow like Tom had moments before. Her cheeks were cold, and her eyes held a frantic plea. My brother. He was out checking on a neighbor when the storm hit. I haven't heard from him. Hang on, Jake's pulse quickened. This isn't right. How could he be out in this? I thought he could make it, Hannah stammered. The worry in her voice cut through the air, thick with urgency. He always thinks he can beat the odds. But now I can't even see a few feet in front of me. The room fell silent, gravity settling on each person like a heavy blanket. It was one thing to search for Tom's family, but now they were faced with another search: a brother, a friend lost somewhere in the storm. Look, Jake began, trying to wrap his head around their situation. We can't just sit here. We have to go. We need to find him. Hannah nodded, determination sparking in her gaze. Please. I can't lose him. Then we go, Tom affirmed, his voice steady. But this time, we stick together. No one gets left behind, okay? As they gathered their supplies once more, extra blankets, extra snacks, the burning thermos of coffee, Jake felt a flicker of encouragement. It was incredible how quickly they had rallied around one another. Adrenaline surged through him, silencing the fear whispering in the back of his mind. Let us make sure we don't get separated, Linda urged, her brow furrowed. If we do, it could be dangerous. Just like a chain, Jake suggested, positioning himself at the front, expecting them all to hold on to each other's jackets. We can't let distance break our focus. Everyone ready? Nods from everyone sent a jolt of solidarity through the group, though the nagging worry lingered. No one had a clear answer about the storm or where they would find Hannah's brother. But they had resolve, they formed a line, fingers shivering but hearts steady. As Jake opened the door wide, the wind bit their cheeks, filling him with an exhilaration that pulsed in sync with the pounding of his heart. In the swirling chaos of snow, Jake could feel their collective hope glimmering like a beacon. "Stay close," he shouted over the wind, plunging into the storm as the door slammed shut behind them. Just as they stepped forward into the blizzard, another loud crack echoed in the distance, a sound that jolted through the center of his chest. Were they truly ready for this? But retreat was not an option. Standing together, strength surged through the small group. They were not just risking themselves, they were fighting for each other and those they loved. Jake led them into the darkness ahead, not fully knowing where it would lead, only that they had to brave it together. What lay ahead? Would they uncover more than they bargained for, or would the storm swallow them whole? The wind howled around them, a living creature that twisted and pulled at their coats, yet Jake's determination only grew stronger. He focused on the sound of his boots crunching through the snow, the way it sank beneath him as the group moved as one, tightly bound together. "Where do we even start looking?" Sarah shouted, struggling to keep her voice above the gusts. "Let's south, head toward Maple Street. It's where he usually checks on the neighbors first," Hannah replied, her voice full of urgency. Each word erupted from her as if it were a lifeline, drawing them closer to her brother, closer to hope. Jake nodded, feeling the heat of expectation rise in his chest. They had a direction. That was something. Just keep your eyes open. Look for any signs of life. We'll find him. Their feet pressed forward, and the snow whipped at their faces, blinding them for moments. Jake turned back to see Linda stagger slightly. "You okay back there?" he called out. "Yeah, it's just," she sighed, pushing back against the wind. "It's disorienting." He felt the pull of panic creep in. A tightness in his chest reminded him of how quickly things could unravel. "Stay close," he urged, pulling them all tighter together, feeling the warmth of bodies against bodies. 10 yards down, he caught a glimpse of movement. It flickered just beyond the veil of swirling snow. "Did you guys see that?" Jake spun, squinting through the white curtain. "What? Where?" Hannah's eyes darted in all directions. "Over there." Jake pointed, gesturing toward what seemed like a faint outline, shrouded in fog. It was difficult to tell if his heart raced from fear or hope as adrenaline coursed through him. Could it be him? Hannah whispered, her breath hitching. They pushed forward, sinking into the drifts up to their knees. Every heavy step was a small battle that demanded their strength. As they neared the shadow, a wave of desperation washed over him. Jake peered closely and let out a sigh of relief. "It's just a parked car." But they all felt the brief flicker of disappointment, a momentary burden pressing against them. Let us keep moving," Tom said, trying to push optimism through his voice. "He can't be far." Continuing along Maple, the relentless wind and snow made it hard to maintain a clear field of vision. Time blurred, and with it, anxiety began to creep in. Then, out of the haze, a faint shout echoed. "Help!" It was strangled and distant, but unmistakably human. Their hearts rose as they turned toward the sound. "Hannah!" Jake called over the noise. "Did you hear that?" "Yes." She answered, her voice suddenly infused with renewed energy. "That's it. That's Ben." With a single focus, they surged toward the noise, hearts racing. Each pull of their legs through the cold felt like a shot of hope propelling them forward. "Ben! We're coming!" Hannah yelled, pushing through the heavy air. With every step, Jake's mind raced. This was what they fought for, what compelled them into the storm. They wouldn't let darkness claim another loved one tonight. As they rounded a bend, they spotted him practically buried in a mound of snow. Jake's stomach dropped. "Ben!" Hannah cried, collapsing to her knees beside him. Help! His voice was barely a whisper now, every ounce of strength fading. but as they approached, the tangible weight of fear wrapped around them. Jake reached out, brushing the snow away from Ben's frozen face. A streak of crimson glimmered just below his eye. Hannah's hand shook against his shoulder. "Ben, please stay with us." In that tense moment, Jake felt the crushing reality of their choices hanging in the air around them. Would they save him, or was this the storm that would take everything from them? The heavy questions loomed in silence, and Jake's heart sank as he braced for the next agonizing beat of fate. But what lay ahead? Would the storm reveal more than they ever expected? The snowfall was relentless, drowning out their voices as they gathered around Ben. Jake felt a knot tighten in his chest, a mix of fear and desperation threatening to overwhelm him. He brushed more snow away, revealing Ben's face more fully. "Hang on, buddy," Jake said, his voice cracking. He leaned in closer, searching for any signs of life, a flicker of strength. "We're here. We're coming to get you." Hannah clutched Ben's hand, her eyes wide with panic. "We have to get him warm. He's freezing." "Right," Jake replied, breaking away for a moment to scan the area. In the distance, he spotted the light from a nearby house, a feeble glow struggling against the storm. "We need to get him to shelter. It's not far." As they hurriedly shifted snow away, Ben's shivering became more pronounced. Each gasp for air felt heavier, tinged with the chill that nipped at their limbs. "Just hold on, Ben. Please," Hannah begged, tears forming in her eyes. Tom quickly glanced back at Hannah, his brow knitted in concern. "Can you carry him, Jake?" "Maybe," Jake said, hesitating as he felt the weight of Ben's still body. He gritted his teeth, summoning every last bit of strength. They were fighting against time, and every second mattered now. "If we work together, we can do this." With some effort, they slid their arms under Ben's shoulders and legs, carefully lifting him from the mound of snow. He was heavier than they'd expected, but they pressed on, moving as carefully as possible. The cold stung their hands, each breath a cloud of fog, but there was no choice. Ben needed them. "Okay, it's just a little further, all right?" "Just a little bit," Jake urged, his determination fueling them with urgency. The house's warm light flickered like a beacon, keeping their spirits alive as they trudged through the blizzard, but the distance felt endless. The wind howled, whipping hard against them. Ben's body felt heavier with every step, despite their shared effort. "We can make it. Come on," Jake shouted, pushing them forward, but doubt crept in, gnawing at his resolve. "Jake, I don't think," Linda started, her voice wavering. "Don't say that. We're almost there," he insisted, his voice raising above the blizzard. Then, something shifted. As they neared the house, the door swung open and warmth spilled out, a stark contrast to the swirling cold. An older couple stood in the threshold, their expressions faltering in disbelief. "What happened?" the woman shouted, rushing forward. "He's hurt. We need help," Hannah cried, urgency spilling from her voice. As the couple ushered them inside, Jake felt the heat wrap around him like a warm embrace, stark against the previous cold. They eased Ben onto the living room floor. "Someone call 911. The man shouted over his shoulder, kneeling beside Ben, who lay pale and still, the horror of their journey crystallizing in the air. "Please, come on, Ben. Don't you dare leave us," Jake whispered, desperation flooding through him as he knelt beside his friend. Hannah knelt closer, her hands trembling against Ben's skin as she rubbed warmth into his limbs. "Can you hear me?" she whispered, panic lacing her voice. "We're right here." But as seconds ticked away, Ben remained motionless. Jake felt his heart pounding wildly, every beat echoing in his ears. "Stay with us, please." A quiet cry escaped Hannah's lips, capturing the essence of their fear. The tense silence in that small room was almost unbearable, the flickering light casting uncertain shadows that danced along the walls. Jake fixed his eyes on Ben's face, praying for even the smallest sign of life. Come on, buddy please, but just then, Ben's eyelids fluttered ever so slightly. The hope ignited within Jake like a fire against the cold, urging him forward. Ben! He breathed, leaning closer as if his very presence could pull him back from the edge. What lay ahead could change everything. Would this moment be the turning point they so desperately hoped for? Or would they be confronted with the dark reality of loss? The question lingered in the air, heavy and full of uncertainty. As they knelt there, the room enveloped in anxious silence. Ben's breath steadied briefly before he struggled to open his eyes. Hannah. He rasped, his voice a strained whisper, pulling them all closer in overwhelming relief. In that single breath, a wave of warmth washed over the chaotic fear woven through them like an inescapable blizzard. I'm here. We're here. Hannah's voice cracked with emotion, her tears flowing freely now. You made it back. All at once, the room that felt heavy with trepidation transformed into a tapestry of hope, uplifting them with every heartbeat shared amongst friends. The older couple worked swiftly, tending to Ben, their hands efficient yet gentle. The warmth of the room countered the tempest outside, creating a cocoon of safety that seemed to outline their hearts like a warm blanket. You're going to be okay. Just hang in there, the woman said with soothing assurance. As the sirens approached, the earlier urgency shifted into something brighter, a dancing glow kindled from within their gathered hearts. They had faced the storm, fought for each other, and found a revelatory unity through the chaos. Outside, the wind's howl softened, as if even nature paused to bear witness to their triumph. Jake couldn't contain the swell of pride and love he felt for these people standing by him, intertwined in a mission far greater than he ever anticipated. Thanks, guys. Really, Ben murmured, finally managing a shaky smile as he focused on Hannah. I thought I was done for. Her grip tightened around his hand, sending laughter through all of them like a ripple of warmth. Not a chance. Jake responded, his heart racing with joy. We wouldn't let that happen. You're part of this community. And we're not going anywhere. Their thoughts symphonized the unspoken promise of solidarity. The gathering was not just about food or stories anymore, it was a revival of the very heart of Maplewood. With the sirens blaring closer, Jake glanced at the others, pure gratitude radiating through him. The gathering we planned, it's needed now more than ever. It's our chance to connect, to heal. Hannah wiped her eyes and nodded. Yes. Everyone has been through so much, and sharing our stories can bring us closer. This storm isn't just weather, it's about hope. It's how we build each other up. Tom and Linda chimed in, igniting the brainstorming as they honored each voice in that dimly lit room. They spoke of highlighting not only family tales, but the stories of the elderly, the burdens of the quiet ones often overlooked. Each plan armed them with hope that rang louder than the storm outside. They envisioned tables filled with meals and laughter, where voices mixed with memories and warmth wrapped around the town like the finest quilt. As healthcare professionals entered, the room filled with gratitude and admiration. With each hurdle they had overcome, they had sparked a fire where embers would continue to glow. Let us make it happen, Jake said, standing straight with renewed spirit. We'll open our doors once the weather gives us a break. It's time to show Maplewood the heart of this community. They gathered close, chaining arms and sharing vows to support each other on the day of the festival, promising to inspire every family to join and share in joyous connection. For the first time in a long time, the descending snow felt less like a burden, more like an invitation to rebuild. As the sirens waned, the storm calmed, and the group shed fragments of fear, wrapping themselves in hope's embrace. As they hustled out to their cars, the blizzard had started to ebb, revealing a crisp, shimmering world, freshly adorned by nature's pure touch. Beneath the weight of the blizzard, beneath the winter chaos, lay the seeds of a great change ready to blossom, and just like that, an incredible act of kindness transformed everything forever in Maplewood. Together, they would rebuild, for they had finally embraced the warmth not just of a meal, but of a resolute community. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to make sure you don't miss more exclusive stories that will inspire your heart. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more people who need these uplifting tales. We want to hear from you. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Let us build a community together.